welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of August 24th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, one dude who's super chill.
Super chill. It's Benjamin Daniel Lawless. What's up, Stephen?
Hey, man.
How easy is it to be chill when it's hitting like 105-degree days regularly?
Listen, Climate change isn't real, and neither are your feelings. So why don't you go cry somewhere else, Snowflake?
Man, snowflakes sound pretty good right about now, don't they?
Snowflakes would be amazing. Yeah, weather in California is weird right now. I saw something on somewhere, probably on Instagram. It's like hailing in Tahoe right now or something. It's just, it's wild, man. It's wild. Hot, cold. Like yesterday was hot. I mean, it's been hot. But then yesterday afternoon, it was like, it looked all cloudy out in the late afternoon. Like it looked rain cloudy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but it's like 90 out. It's so weird.
That's like your typical, that's not, okay. So all of you in the Midwest where that's a normal thing for your summers to have these storms, it's not quite as normal for us out here in California. And we're scared.
We're frightened.
Rain in the summer. we have droughts in the summer, we have droughts in the winter, we have droughts in the spring. Like that's just what we do.
If it's not droughting, then we're drowning. And you can put that on
don't know
cereal
how to drive.
box. We don't know how to that's the worst. Oh man. So get this, and actually you already know this, but I'm telling our listeners. My chickens have started laying a crazy amount of eggs, and it makes me super happy.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's the problem with chicks. When you get them, they become chickens.
I know. I should just throw them out. Except no, I wanted some laying. This morning for breakfast, I did an egg scramble for the family. 6 eggs, no problem. We're sitting on was it 2? We have two and a half dozen eggs in the house right now. Well, now we have 2 dozen eggs because I used 6 of them for breakfast. But they're laying. It was like, oh, look at that, we got 2, and then a day later, oh look, we got 3 today, and a day later, oh look, now there's 4, and then the day after that 4, and then yesterday 4. So I think we're going right now we're on a 4 average, which is great. Because pretty soon friends and family are going to be getting eggs from us. So prepare yourself.
Guess what, dear listeners? I am a friend.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a friend too, maybe we'll start delivering to our patrons.
Patreon.com. Our new top Patreon tier is called the egg tier, and I will hand deliver eggs to you. It's like $20 a month. I'll send you 6 eggs, and still cheaper than at the stores. Just kidding. No, it's been pretty great. It's one of our hens is laying these like not tiny but like smaller than average eggs, and the shell is really dark, and so it's funny to see them, and you're like, oh look at these little ones. It's just fun. It's fun to have multicolored eggs. I don't know what's up with these white eggs. Ugh, white. Get out of here, whites. Anyways.
This went to a weird place. You know what?
Did. You know what else is a weird place? Star Trek.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny now that I think about it. Like, I've got more to talk about Star Trek.
Oh, do you?
Than I originally thought.
But
you sent me a link earlier this week.
Yeah.
And given how busy I've been with work, I barely looked at it. But when I looked at it, I had more questions than answers. Now, you sent me a link to a trailer for a video game that is coming out that has a teaser trailer called Star Trek Voyager: Across the Unknown.
Yeah.
Now, the trailer is graphically impressive.
Sure.
For sure.
Mhm.
Like lots of shots of the Voyager, you know, going about battling different races, you know, whatnot. And then like there's a few shots in the trailer of like seeing the decks of the Enterprise as if it's like a dollhouse, or not the Enterprise, the Voyager, as if it's like a dollhouse where like
Yeah,
you have
like a cut side view.
cutaway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is really fascinating, you know.
Mhm.
But and then it goes back to showing a bunch of out, you know, in space shots of the
Right.
Voyager with literally no context, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at it and was like, well, that's cool, but what the heck
What is
even is
this?
this? Thanks to the Steam page,
Oh, did the Steam page tell you?
the Steam page tells you. So, Star Trek
Oh,
Voyager Across the Unknown is a story-driven, single-player survival strategy game. So,
nice.
yeah, the idea here is it's a bunch of what-if scenarios. So, did you ever wonder what would have happened if Captain Janeway had decided things differently? Like if a important crew member had followed a different path, or if the crew of the Voyager had embraced Borg technology to increase their chances of survival? Well,
Yes.
this is a game where you can take control and shape the journey of the Voyager across the Delta Quadrant however you want. You can either take a risky approach or play it safe. You can be diplomatic or let phasers do the talking. You can research technologies that were shunned by the crew in the series, if you'd like. And so
Wow.
it's a roguelike strategy simulation.
That's okay. Yeah, I like games like that. So
Yeah.
that makes me happy that that's what this is.
It's so I think I really appreciate it because it is so against a good portion of the Star Trek video game landscape, you know?
Oh, you don't want to shoot
Um,
things with phasers all the time like Star
right. Yeah,
Trek does?
exactly. Yeah. The idea is
Yeah.
like I mean, I think that like it's that idea of when Star Trek tries to be commercial and tries to
Mhm.
be mainstream, they need to for movies and for video games because these are things that require a lot of money
Mhm.
to be made from them, right?
Right.
And so the powers that be say, well, let's have a lot of shooty poo poo. And sometimes that
It
works out.
sounded like you said shooty poo poo.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're not wrong, but
Sometimes
continue.
that works out.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know, like Star Trek Elite Force was a great game. But then you
That the
get
tagline to that one, I believe, was "Set phasers to frag."
yes,
Um,
I remember what Devin said.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
not going to repeat
we can
that.
just scoop right past that.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyhow, this seeing the trailer, I was like, well, what is this? Is this a fan film? Is this like what is it? But thankfully getting that information from the Steam page immediately made me pop it on my wish list. I don't know if I'll ever play it because who has time for that sort of thing anymore?
Well, definitely not you right now.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note that the reason why this trailer popped up is because Gamescom happened, and that is I don't know a ton of details about it other than it's like I think it's in Germany, and it's like a video game festival thing, and so a bunch of trailers for games that are coming out, you know, whenever, started popping up everywhere. And then also some video game adjacent stuff had trailers and such. And so please allow clear your schedule for the next 30 to 40 minutes as I talk about the trailer for Fallout Season 2.
Mm.
Yeah, so that
Go for it.
also dropped. Fallout Season 2 trailer, which is coming, the season is coming out December, I want to say 17th is the premiere date. It's like a Wednesday or something. But it was a full on trailer of like, here's what we're gonna do. And if you're a fan of Fallout, you are probably also a fan of Fallout New Vegas, which this season appears to be a lot of New Vegas happening. So for those maybe on the periphery, kind of Fallout fans, here's the deal. Fallout 1 and 2, or Fallout 1 was done by Interplay. Fallout 2 was done by Black Isle Studios, which is like a division of Interplay, kind of. And then after that, there was going to be a Fallout 3 that got canceled. It was called, the code name for it was Van Buren. Don't know why. I don't remember why. Something about presidents. And so that never happened. Then Bethesda bought the IP when Interplay went under, and they made Fallout 3, which when that came out in the PC Gamer magazine exclusive, oh man, I flipped my stuff because such a fan of Fallout, and I thought it was going to be, I was never going to get any more Fallout. Because after 1 and 2, and then the company goes under, you think, oh, well, that's it. It's done now. But the fine people at Bethesda were like, no, we can take that IP. We appreciate it. We can do something with it. And they did. They made Fallout 3. It was super awesome. And then they did not make Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas was done by Obsidian Entertainment. And I believe, this is all off the top of my head. I'm not looking at any web pages. This is just me, so please fact check if it sounds weird. I believe some people at Obsidian were former Black Isle Studios people as well. Like, there is like a lineage of developers that have kind of followed Fallout around a little bit. So then Obsidian Entertainment, which lately they've also done what are they called? The Outer Worlds games.
Yeah.
They've done a bunch of stuff. But anyways, they took a crack at Fallout New Vegas. And they are really, really good RPG developers. And they created, in like 8 months, like the development time was insane. They used a Fallout 3 game engine, which was like is a Bethesda thing. Anyways, they created Fallout New Vegas, and it is amazing. It's an amazing game. For the first time, the protagonist is not a vault dweller. You're just a courier that is hired to take something from point A to point B, and then you get involved in all the shenanigans. And it's an excellent game, primarily because you have a lot of choice in the game, to the point where the game, and there's tons of different endings for the game, because essentially it's a fight over New Vegas and the Hoover Dam. And the Hoover Dam is a big source of power, and there's the NCR, the New California Republic, and there is House. The House always wins. Mr. House, who's in control of New Vegas. There's Caesar's Legion, which is this huge group of raiders, kind of organized like Roman army, that have taken over like a lot of the Midwest and are now pushing west into that area. There's just all of these factions. And through the course of the game, you as the player get to choose who to side with and who to help. And so there are a lot of different endings. And so when the first season of Fallout came out on Amazon, a lot of people, the fans, were asking, I wonder what the canon ending is. Because Bethesda kind of didn't have to think about that, because Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 are both set on the East Coast. Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas are all on the West Coast. And so that's enough of a divide in a post-apocalypse that you don't have to worry about characters crossing paths or one thing affecting another. You can kind of just hand wave it away a little bit and not really mention it or talk about it too much. Well, the Fallout show took place in California, and at the very end of the show, spoilers for the first season of Fallout, one of the main antagonists of the show runs off into the desert, and then you see them approaching New Vegas, which is the ruins of Las Vegas. Which then everyone was like, whoa, we need to know what the canon ending is now. Because if you're going there and it's chronologically after the game, which it is, timeline wise, it's like 10 years after the game or something. There's an official time. We need to know what the canon ending is. We need to know who's in control, who's in power. And the trailer for Fallout Season 2 tells us what the canon ending was, because certain characters are alive, certain characters are not. And so that's pretty cool that they took a stand on that. Like you have to. You can't have a story in that area without letting the viewers know what's happening. And in the trailer, they touched upon all of these different factions and stuff, which is kind of cool. They touch on the NCR a little bit. They touch on Caesar's Legion a little bit. They touch on Mr. House a little bit, and they show a pre-war Las Vegas and the post-war New Vegas. So they're still doing the back and forth, time where you got Cooper Howard in the the past, which is sometime around 2077 before the bombs dropped. And then now the 2280 something as the Ghoul. It was great. They showed off a bunch of cool stuff, not too much. Like, I have no idea where the plot's going. Very, very excited. I watched the trailer several times, and then some of my favorite YouTubers broke it down and pointed at things I hadn't noticed, which was excellent as well. I am very, very excited for this season.
Right on. When's it coming?
December, I think 17th. I think
okay.
that's the
it's coming up.
It's I mean that's going to be my birthday / Christmas present is watching Fallout Season 2. And we don't know when we're going to be getting another Fallout game. That's the other thing. Is Bethesda they take time with their role playing games, which is fine. And right now, actually, news kind of broke that Fallout 5 started production officially, like way ahead of schedule, because they wrapped up Starfield, or people are still working on Starfield, with like DLC and stuff. So that's wrapping up. They are in, I believe, full production of the Elder Scrolls 6. The last one being Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Everyone's played Skyrim. Your microwave has played Skyrim. Like it's everywhere. So they had announced before that Fallout 5 wasn't going, like nothing was going to happen with Fallout 5 until Elder Scrolls 6 was complete. That has changed now. Now,
wow.
Fallout 5 there was like an announcement that it's now in production.
So is that, do you think that's because of how well the TV show did and how they're like, there's a lot more interest in this?
I think so. I think that definitely had something to do with it, because the TV show was a big question mark before it came out. We were like, the diehard fans of the game are like, we'll see. And then when they announced like who was making it, like, the people that made Westworld are doing it, you're like, oh, okay, yes, that's good news. And anyways, the season turned out, it was really good. It was a really good season of television, and it hit all the Fallout things like how you want it to hit. It did some cool lore stuff. It was announced like, this show is part of canon. Everything in here, it all counts. And it did very, very well. And so they got to do something with it, I think, because now Microsoft and Bethesda are in bed together, and I believe, or the rumor mill is that Microsoft saw like, this video game series has spawned this TV show that is doing incredibly well. We need to capitalize on this and go back to the video games. And I'm sure Bethesda was like, in like 10 years when we have time. And they were like, no, here's money, do it now. That's the scuttlebutt. But even then, video game development takes a very long time. And if they just start a production now, I don't know, 2030 maybe for Fallout 5, like it takes time, right? You have to build these enormous worlds populated by all these characters, and they all have to be voice acted now. And like it's a huge undertaking. So yeah, I'm excited for whenever it finally comes. But in the meantime, we'll probably get a few more seasons of the TV show. So if you're a Fallout guy like me, pay attention to the stories that are being told, but also pay attention to what's not being told, because Bethesda has final say on what. I mean, they're part of the development of the TV show. So if there are certain things that are going to be in Fallout 5 or certain events or whatever that are planned, you're not going to see those in the TV show, right? And traditionally, and I'll end on this because it's too much Fallout. I'll end on this. Traditionally, Bethesda has been like, pick a city, and then the game happens around that, right? Fallout 3 was Washington, D.C. Fallout 4 was Boston. Even New Vegas was Las Vegas, right? And so the thought process now is, okay, what city are they going to pick to have a game around? And there are two big contenders that people think. One is New York, and the other is San Francisco. Because San Francisco was in Fallout 2 a little bit. I mean, and that's a 2D isometric game, so you didn't get like the whole city. You got parts of it. But it has a very interesting story going on there, where a Chinese nuclear sub like crashed, and then the survivors like took over Chinatown, and like that's like a big thing in San Francisco. And then as far as New York goes, the only thing Canon has said about New York is that it was targeted by the bombs, and that it's pretty much like a smoking crater. So it could, I mean, yes, but like the nukes in Fallout aren't as powerful as nukes as we know them. And so like, yeah, maybe like Manhattan's gone, but like everything around it would still be there. You know what I mean? Like New York's big. So like either one of those would be great. And Bethesda tries to leave like clues onto what's coming next. For example, Fallout 4, the main plot of Fallout 4 has a lot to do with synths, right? Synthetic people. And there was a synth in Fallout 3. And they kind of alluded to that there was something going on in Boston in Fallout 3. And sure enough, in Boston, it's what the whole plot is about. So then you have to look through Fallout 4 and see if there's any clues. And one character has they talk about their past in a way, and they came from San Francisco. And so it was like, okay, is that their clue there? That's where they're going next? Maybe was that their little breadcrumb clue? Or do they put a bunch of clues in every game and they just kind of, red herrings and they pick one? Who knows? Anyways, very excited. Fallout Season 2, the trailer's online. If you're interested, looks just as good as the first season. So if you like that, I'm sure you'll like this. I'm very excited. Back to you.
Well, I mean, if Devin's not here, it means we can just talk about video games.
Yeah, video game cast. What do you got?
And so, hey, Stephen, you and I, and dear listeners, maybe if you're interested to join us, there's a new level of walkabout mini golf in Tokyo. Yes. It's another one of the what do they call them? The Voyage courses? No. Basically, they've got they have some cities as mini golf courses. So they had made Venice previously.
Oh, okay.
And Passport series.
Passport. Yeah, like Passport. the layer series with like villain layers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
Passport
Tokyo, and so it's like looking at it, it looks really fun. Looks really neat. There's a lot of cats everywhere.
Of course. How could you not?
Yeah. The hard mode takes place during the night parade of 100 demons.
Whoa.
Which is an over 1,000-year-old Japanese folklore depicting the night when all of the supernatural creatures known as yokai parade through the streets of Japan. And so, I'm kind of excited about checking that out.
That looks
lots of capybaras
really cool.
in it too.
Why? Is that a Japanese thing?
Let's see here. Okay, so according to the level designer Laura Krause, Venice seemed like an obvious first location for a passport course, and Tokyo felt like a good contrast in environment, color palette, and culture. Ultimately, we hope to recreate what players expect to see when visiting a specific place in the world and act as an hors d'oeuvre, representing what they imagine a trip to these places might feel like. For those that love Tokyo and wish to one day revisit, we hope to have given them a taste of what they love about this amazing city. And of course, capybaras.
Why is that they're native to South America? Why?
I don't know, but this is okay. You're going to make your way through the alleys of Omoide Yokocho and up the steps of Hanazono Shrine. And capybaras, why? they await to be found throughout Tokyo, and yeah, just you can photograph
Okay.
both the cats and capybaras with your CocoVision camera in the game, and even snap selfies with them.
I took pictures last time when we played that dinosaur level, but I never looked in my where those showed up in my.
Yeah.
I gotta look for those.
So we'll figure it out, and yeah, but that's coming up here.
Oh, found them.
Steven, I
Yes.
mean, in Tokyo, I'm sure that some people maybe like to dress up as pirates. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to do what's this pirate Borg thing?
Oh, you're segueing.
Help me
okay,
out.
cool.
Help me out.
All right. So this is a role playing deal. This is pretty cool. So a role playing game came out a while back called Morkborg.
Yes.
And I showed you the book because some people say it's an art book more than an RPG. I say it's a way of life. No, actually, I've never actually played it. But the system is like an incredibly simple system. You can roll up a character very quickly, and it's a very like adult game. Like this is, you're not going to play, like you can play D&D with your kids. You're not going to play Morkborg with your kids. It's like doom metal. It's crazy. It's just like death and crazy stuff, and it's very hard to explain. It's heavy. No, it's not heavy metal. It's like it's death metal, the RPG.
Yeah.
And because
one day all will blacken and burn.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that game system became pretty popular, but the developers were super cool, saying, "Hey, you can use our rules for whatever you want. You know, you've got the general license stuff." So a lot of people have made Borg clones, not clones, but like different settings and whatnot. There is a Cyborg, which is a cyberpunk version of the game. There's a ton of them, but there's also one called Pirate Borg. Now, Pirate Borg kind of took off in its own right because it is very much in the vein of like Pirates of the Caribbean, where there is like pirates and also supernatural stuff married together. And there aren't a lot of RPGs like that using that setting. Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't have their own RPG, right? Like it's why would you? So that's where Pirate Borg comes in. And I found the PDF online, found it, and I looked at it and I immediately rolled up a character and I was like, this is so cool. Just to like see how it worked. And now I've purchased the book and it is in the mail on its way to my house. Because it is like create a pirate. They're very, very stereotypical, movie pirates. And then it's based in the dark Caribbean instead of the real Caribbean. And there is the whole deal is that it's like, okay, what if it was this era, but now all the supernatural stuff is happening. So you get things like skeletons and zombies and sea creatures and like huge undead kraken that'll attack your ship and all this stuff, and it's done very, very well. They even wrote out like ship battling rules so you can have your ship fighting other ships. And while I haven't dug into the rules that deeply, according to YouTubers that have reviewed the book, those systems work very, very well. So
very cool. Yeah, every time we went over to help feed your dog and your chickens, I often pull Morkborg off of the
Oh, is that right?
off your shelf, yeah, and just flip through it because all of the artwork is just so incredible. Like what a brutalist art style. And so to see it on the Pirate Borg website, and to see all like that style taken to pirates, it's like, oh, that fits really well. And that book
really does.
That book looks really good. It's
Yeah.
well printed. It's got a lot of embossing on the cover and
Yeah, so that's in the mail. So look forward to me forcing you to do a pirate RPG one day.
All right. Sure.
It'll be great. So yeah, that's the other thing I've been looking forward to in real life stuff. We should. I mean, this being a podcast about science and science fiction, we've talked some science fiction stuff. Now it's time to get to more science fiction stuff.
Might as well.
Ben, give us a future or now. What do we got?
Who's gonna stop us? Not Devin.
Not Devin. He's not here.
All right, y'all. So I know I kind of talked a little bit about this last couple of weeks whenever I've been talking about Strange New Worlds, and I've been a little bit disappointed because they're bringing in a lot of neat like member berries about the rest of the series of Star Trek into the show, and like because it's a prequel, preemptively bringing them in, but it's when you are like, oh hey, that was a great episode of Strange New Worlds, and then you watch the original episodes that they're referencing, and you go, wait a second, these facts don't line up. And that's where like my disappointment comes from the show.
Okay.
Well, an interesting video from Positronic Hypersonic on YouTube
Nerd.
basically posits that Strange New Worlds is not in the TOS universe.
Those old scientists, no?
Well, yeah, basically like, hey, listen, if you know, there are so many inconsistencies in the shows that it's probably just in everybody's best interest, especially mine as a feral nerd, to just like let Paramount, CBS, whatever they're calling themselves now, announce. It would be great if they just said, hey, don't expect this to line up with the original series because it's a different universe. Just like the Kelvin universe is in the movies, this is a different universe too. And hearing about that, I said, okay, that would be great. And so my headcanon is Strange New Worlds, not in the original series universe.
Okay.
Now, I would warn you against necessarily watching the video because as for all the points that he makes that I agree with, there's a bit of casual racism just thrown in to
what?
to the discussion.
Okay.
Which was a little bit which I didn't appreciate or like. And basically the idea here is amongst all of the other things that don't line up with the original series, Positronic Hypersonic brings up that in the animated series for in Star Trek the animated series, the character of Robert April is white, and in this show he's black, and that is something that was, according to this person, like one of the first things. It was like a dead giveaway that this wasn't the same universe. That's
okay.
Not, yeah, like I'm right. Yeah. But like that got me thinking. I was like, okay, well, okay. So that's like an interesting reverse whitewashing that, number one, I have no problem with it. The actor who plays Robert April on the show is really good. And, basically Paramount kind of picks and chooses what out of the animated series they even consider as canon. And now if they're considering that Strange New Worlds is canon, they're picking and choosing what original series is canon too. So like, what does it even matter?
Yeah.
I have no problem with recasting, but it got me thinking a lot about like, well, what about characters that are so intricately like that are very much dictated by their culture and their background, such as Uhura or Scotty or Sulu or Chekhov. That like, would it be okay if they were, because their characters are kind of labeled the token of that culture on the bridge, would it be okay if they were played in a way where it wasn't that culture? And the answer is, well, they're never going to do that because those characters are so intricately tied to that. You know, and the places where you do see that has happened recently was maybe Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan, where the problems with Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan start with the script, not necessarily with his portrayal with it, right?
No,
like
no.
I don't have a problem with Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. I have a problem with Khan being in the movie in the first place.
That's a J.J. Abrams issue, not a Benedict Cumberbatch issue.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I am far less concerned about recasting of characters in different, as long as they're telling good stories. Strange New Worlds is telling good stories, and now hopefully in my head canon, I can say this isn't the same universe. Nerd brain. You can celebrate like the Kelvin universe did, celebrate the differences as much as I celebrate the similarities.
Yeah, that's a smart way to think about it. I mean,
Right.
in any of these nerd-ridden things, you're gonna get people who are like to give a Star Wars example. Where was Ahsoka during the original series? And
Right.
you go like, look, her character didn't exist yet. Like, can you calm down about this? Right? Like, in the same way that you can be like, hey, how come everybody's white in this old TV show? Well, because there was a lot of casual racism going on, and we're just going to ignore that, right? We're going to say, Ahsoka was busy doing something else, and we're not going to go any further than that because it doesn't matter. You got to think realistically about some of these things. And like the newer Trek has a more diverse cast. Like when I think about that other Discovery, right? Like you have a very diverse cast, not only racially but also orientation wise, right? And that's fantastic. And so that's the same as going back to be like, well, how come no one's gay on the bridge of the original USS Enterprise? And you go, because bad people were bad back then as well. Okay.
Yes.
And they didn't want to have true representation. And we are slowly, painfully crawling towards a place of equality, taking steps backward, left and right. Not all of us, but us as a society. And we are trying our best. And to be like, to casually throw that into a video that's more about like plots and timelines, like keep your racism out of that. Like it doesn't matter. So people are recast or it doesn't, who cares? It doesn't matter. And this is why everything is multiverse now.
Right.
It's all multiverse because for some reason we can't get it through our heads that these things do not necessarily have to be all connected. When they are all connected in a way that works, it's amazing, right? Like that's why the Marvel movies did so well when they came together and did Avengers, and it all made sense. It was all consistent. It was great, but it's hard to do. It's not easy, and they are now failing and floundering when they tried to embrace it. And so in a world now where we live in reboots and sequels and universes, some things are not going to line up because of the real world, right? Because actors are going to quit a project, or because somebody died, right? Or because someone's old now and they're doing something when that character was young. Like all these things are going to have to change. And that doesn't mean like, we can't. How come Luke, he's young, but it's not, but it's CG now and I hate it. And shut up. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Yeah. If Strange New Worlds is a good show that you're enjoying, great. Don't let anyone put you down because of that. Enjoy what you enjoy because you enjoy it. Make whatever headcanon you want because it doesn't matter, and have fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice to know that other people are like, yeah, this is bothering us too, and then also to have somebody go, hey, there's a way you can think about it where it doesn't bother me anymore. Maybe this will help you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and the consistency problem would bother me if they came out and were like, "Oh yeah, this is in the Prime universe," and then all these problems start poking up. That would bother
yeah.
me as well. But if they were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just a Star Trek show," like,
And
"Oh
and
okay."
I mean, like, it's funny because a lot of this stuff has been there the entire time.
Hmm.
Nurse Chapel in the original series looks at Spock and says, well, you wouldn't know what it's like to be engaged, to be married, would you, Mr. Spock?
Hmm.
And like the beginning of the first season of Strange New Worlds is about Chapel starting a relationship with Spock, even though he's engaged to be married, and she hangs out with her with his bride to be. Like,
I mean,
you know,
were they one trying to be clever or two trying to be clever to tell the audience this is not in the Prime universe?
right? Yeah. Or is it that they know like the Cliff Notes version of the show, but they haven't actually watched it, like the writers.
Yeah, that's an issue as well. Like you can tell, like Below Decks,
Lower
those
Decks.
those or Lower Decks, sorry, not below. Geez, sorry, Lower Decks. Those creators love Star Trek,
Yeah.
and you can tell immediately that they have binge watched for hours at a time just because. You can tell
Yeah.
it comes through in the work, and when that's not there, the fans can also tell.
Yeah. And so that's it's been happening a lot this season, except the last two episodes have been just really, really solid. They've been really great
Awesome.
in terms of, they're not relying on uh other stuff from other series as much, which is just funny because it's like this is a season where they've been saying, "Oh, we're taking big swings." And yeah, they've been taking some big swings, but then they've also been relying on other stuff that's like, "Oh, well, you didn't this makes me want to watch the original to like see how you connected it." And it's like, "Oh, there are big problems
Uh,
every episode that they're doing that." Um Yeah.
oh
Anyhow,
man.
that is my future. Stephen, how
Huh.
how about you? What do you got?
Oh man, I gotta now, I think. So I read this article last week and I have not refreshed myself. So we're gonna go into this. We're gonna do it live and it's gonna be great.
Oh, good.
I originally called this 1 plus -1 equals 0, duh, and I don't remember why. So this article comes from Science Daily. It was published on August 17th, and the title is Scientists Just Proved a Fundamental Quantum Rule for the First Time.
Go scientists. Yeah.
Go scientists. Scientists have, for the first time, experimentally proven that angular momentum is conserved even when a single photon splits into two, pushing quantum physics to its most fundamental limits. Using ultra-precise equipment, the team captured this elusive process, comparable to finding a needle in a haystack, confirming a cornerstone law of nature at the photon level. I mean, that sounds really cool. I can't wait to read this article. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so the conservation rule dictates that when a photon with 0 OAM, which is orbital angular momentum, is split into two photons, the OAM quanta of both photons must add to 0. Hence, if one of the newly generated photons is found to have one OAM quanta, its partner photon must have the opposite, i.e., negative OAM quanta. Oh, that's why I put that. Or in other words, the simple formula 1 plus -1 equals 0 needs to hold. Duh. While these conservation rules have been tested and utilized in a myriad of optics experiments with a laser, they have never been tested for a single photon. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's see. Did it go through what the experiment was? The team's experiments rely on delicate measurements as the required nonlinear optical processes are very inefficient. Only every billionth photon is converted to a photon pair, such that measuring the conservation of OAM for single photons resembles the proverbial search for the needle in the haystack. An extremely stable optical setup, low background noise, a detection scheme with the highest possible efficiency, and a lot of experimental endurance enabled the researchers to record enough successful conversions such as they could confirm the fundamental conservation law. In addition to confirming OAM conservation, the team observed first indications of quantum entanglement in the generated photon pairs, which suggests that the technique can be extended to create more complex photonic quantum states. I mean, cool. That sounds real cool. I don't understand all of it, but I mean,
seems like one of those fundamental things that everything else is going to be built upon, you know?
Yeah. Like, so one of the cornerstones of quantum mechanics is that nobody understands quantum mechanics, right? Like, it's very complex stuff. It doesn't make logical sense to our monkey brains. But when we have these rules, these laws of how matter works, sometimes when things get very, very small or very, very big, those laws kind of bend or act in a way that doesn't make sense to us. To have one of these laws also be true and proven to be true at such a small, tiny, infinitesimal scale is super impressive. And it's also great to be like, hey, we checked our work. Turns out conservation of momentum still a thing when really, really small. And that's great. Let's see. There's a quote here from Professor Robert Fickler, who leads the Experimental Quantum Optics Group. Quote, "This work is not only of fundamental importance, but it also takes us a significant step closer to generating novel quantum states, where the photons are entangled in all possible ways, i.e. in space, time, and polarization." Looking forward, the researchers plan to improve the overall efficiency of their scheme and develop better strategies for measuring the generated quantum state, such that in the future, these photonic needles can be found easier in the laboratory haystack. Moreover, the researchers aim at leveraging the generated multi-photon quantum states for novel fundamental quantum tests and quantum photonics applications such as quantum communication and network schemes. I don't understand what I just said. But that's science for you. Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we take ourselves a little break?
I think we should. Okay, everyone take a second, digest the quantum information that you've just received. And if you will, check out our short story that we're going to read this week, When It Changed by Joanna Russ. We have links in our show notes. Just read it with a tissue nearby because wow. And we'll be right back. You ever notice how everyone in sci-fi movies has a secret society they belong to? The Jedi, the Bene Gesserit, the Illuminati, or whatever? Well, guess what? So do we. It's called our Patreon, and if you join at patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast, you'll get access to exclusive content, our Discord, and knowledge that normal listeners will never understand. Join us, or remain in the dark. Your call. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. So next week, Stephen,
Yeah.
I've picked a story called Bears Discover Fire by Terry Bisson.
Okay.
So the premise is that bears have discovered fire and are having campfires on highway medians.
Horrifying.
Now, this did win, it looks like 6 different Best Short Story awards back in 1990 and 1991 across Hugo, Nebula, Locus, the Asimov Readers Award. It's won a lot.
Cool.
And you'd probably recognize Terry Ballantyne Bisson's name, as he had written "They're Made Out of Meat" as well, which is one of my other favorite short stories.
Why does that sound familiar?
So-
Have we read that? Why does that sound familiar?
"They're Made Out of Meat" is it's an interesting one. I don't know if we've read it on the show. Probably. If we haven't, then we really should.
Wait, is that the one where they're like, oh yeah, they talk by flapping their meats around?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We've
They
talked
blow
about
through
it.
their meat. Yeah. Yeah, aliens
All right.
talking about how it is inconceivable that that any intelligence could spring up made out of meat, as humans are.
They're not
yeah.
wrong. We are very dumb as a species.
Now, mind you, so I'm choosing this for next week, but
Mhm.
it may not happen next week. There's some weird timey-wimey scheduling stuff that we'll have to work out.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So,
if-
listener, check out our show notes. The links are there. Read the story. We may or may not be covering it next week, but we will eventually. So, yeah, don't worry about it. Chill out.
Yeah.
Relax.
But this week we read "When It Changed" by Joanna Russ. Stephen, did you experience this by reading it, or did you watch the YouTube link that we shared with everyone last week?
I read it with my eyes.
Wow. Did you try listening to the YouTube link?
No, I didn't even check it out.
I don't want to throw shade, but I do want to apologize everybody for sending that particular link, because the person reading that was stumbling over a lot of words, and it seemed like they were reading it for the first time out loud on the YouTube video.
Okay.
And so I got about like a minute and a half into it, and I said, I can't have this on in the background. Like this is
too distracting.
Impossible for me to know what is happening given how the delivery of it. So yeah, I read it with my eyes as well. Stephen,
Hooray, eyes!
I like my eyes.
Eyes for the win. Okay.
So
When It Changed. So this is a 1972 Nebula Award winning short story.
yeah.
Where do we even start with this one?
Well, I mean, like all short stories of this ilk, you're thrown into a world and you're trying to kind of figure out, well, what is happening, right?
Yeah.
And it starts off with these two wives and their kid, and kind of talking about how their society is based upon like you go out and you hunt at a certain age, and that irrevocably changes you,
Mm-hmm.
and their daughter is so Kate and gosh, what's the other
Yuriko is the eldest.
so Yuriko's the name. The Yuriko is the name of the eldest child, right? And she's about to to turn of the age where there's some kind of duel or hunt. And but the narrator.
Okay, look. When this story starts, you've got people driving fast. You've got firearms that people don't use but are there. We've got people asleep. We've got someone who has fought 3 duels.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. They talk about the height of people. Like there, so much is thrown out in this first page that I was reeling. I was like, what even is this? What's going on? And then let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs in, men, Yuki had screamed, leaping over the car door. They've come back, real Earthmen. And I was like, okay, what? That recontextualized everything I had just read. And I did not understand that it was 2 wives driving.
No, not until a little bit later. And so, basically, this story is about a colony of humans on a planet called While Away.
Mhm.
And 30 generations ago, a disease killed off half the population, killed off all of the colony's men.
Hooray.
And so they've had to learn as a society how to reproduce. Was it parthenogenetically?
I think, yeah, that's what was said.
That, yeah. I could have that wrong, but yeah. So they and then also how just to deal with a like an entire colony that now is just all women. Well, here we go. First time in 30 generations, a small team of men come to while away from Earth and explain to the colonists that whether they like it or not, they intend to change their fundamental ways that they go about things by reintroducing men to their colony.
Like the way that the men are described makes me hate men.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like they're described as monsters essentially.
Yeah.
And
Very much
then
so.
they start acting like monsters.
I mean, I think it's
the things they say.
important. Yeah, it's important to mention that none of the violence in or the there's no. It's all threat of things based on what they say, not necessarily based on like it being like a threatening thing, but you can really tell that there is danger behind every sentence that the men are speaking.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's wild.
The core of these men, just by existing, are threatening. And I think what we as white men get from this story is that just us existing is frightening to women.
Mm-hmm.
Just us being here, like the current meme of like you're lost in a forest, there's a man or there's a bear, which one would you rather encounter? And they say bear. Like that's very telling about how in the direction our society is going. And or not where it is going, where it is, I should say. Yeah. So like this story, yeah, science fiction, but I would also argue that this is also a horror story, because this colony of women are doing just fine. They do not need men for any reason whatsoever, and it appears like it's also painted. It's not a perfect society. Like they talk about duels, which they never really talk about like in specific what that means, other than one of these wives has fought 3 and she's still alive, and later mentioned that she has like a scar on her face from one of these duels.
And also mentions that she's going to be the one to kill her wife early on in the story. That was an interesting.
I don't remember that bit.
No. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyhow,
was that something said in jest because of her driving, or?
Good question.
Anyways, it's just that the world that it paints is that for 600 years, these women have figured out how to live successfully, and they are farmers and they are mechanists, right? Like they are doing everything, which is fine. And these men show up and just kind of chuckle at them and go, well, don't worry, we're coming. We'll help you with all this. And they're like, we don't need your help. But yet these men are described as like tall and like muscular, like an ape or like an animal. And they're just like forcing themselves on the society. And it's horrifying. It's just horrifying that is what men do. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I read this story. It's like Yuki. I said, "Do you think you could fall in love with a man?" And she whooped derisively, "With a 10-foot toad," said my tactful child. Like, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
this was a fantastic story.
Yes.
I mean, besides the, like it is a rough start because it is an in media res situation, and none of this is explained until you get a page or two into it, and then you go like, oh, this is what's happening, and then they start to kind of describe more about the world. They are bigger than we are. They are bigger and broader. 2 are taller than I, and I am extremely tall, 1 meter 80 centimeters in my bare feet. They are obviously of our species, but off, indescribably off. And my eyes could not and still cannot quite comprehend the lines of those alien bodies. I could not even then bring myself to touch them, though the one who spoke Russian, that voice they have, wanted to, quote, shake hands, a custom from the past, I imagine. Like it very in like little bits and pieces kind of you kind of figure out what's happening here. I also noticed all of their last names are something son. Helga's son, Janet's son.
So they do mention that like when the like they over the last 30 generations they have adopted a new language, but they talk about the lingua franca, their original language, and their original language was Russian.
Okay.
So yeah, they kind of slip into like talking in Russian in order to converse with the men. But yeah, how it ends. Men are coming to while away. And then kind of goes a little bit further. Sometimes I laugh at the question those 4 men hedged about all evening and never quite dared to ask, looking at the lot of us, hicks in overalls, farmers in canvas pants and plain shirts. Which of you plays the role of the man? As if we had to produce a carbon copy of their mistakes. I doubt very much that sexual equality has been reestablished on Earth. And then, yeah, sometimes at night, I remember the original name of this planet changed by the first generation of our ancestors. Those curious women for whom I suppose the real name was too painful a reminder after the men died. I find it amusing in a grim way to see it all so completely turned around. This too shall pass. All good things must come to an end. Take my life, but don't take away the meaning of my life. For a while. So this is the original name of this planet was For a While. And when all the men died, they, as a society, they changed the name of the planet to While Away. While Away. How poetic.
I don't get it. Explain that to me. The For a While versus While Away. I mean, I know it
right.
like phonetically or like, yeah, they sound similar, but like what's the meaning there? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that telling us?
I'm scratching at it too, but I think the closest I've been able to come to it is this idea that why would you name a colony For a While? Which, like that's such a hopeful name, such a a name of like about like that For a While says to me of careless summer days, While Away is the name that it now has because it is all the men are away, right? Like all of the like everyone passed suddenly in the plague. All the men did, and this is what it is while away.
While the men are away. This is
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the title "When It Changed" that the story is about, like it also ties into that, right? Like which change are we talking about? Are we talking about when it changed back, 30 generations ago, 600 years ago, when the men all passed, or is it now that the men are coming back and are forcibly changing the culture? to suit what they think is a natural order of things when it changed. And you know, you also get a bit of discussion here about the upcoming war, where that the women are going to fight for their right to govern themselves. Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, it really is.
What a story. Way
Yeah.
to go, Joanna Ross. And a good earner of the 1972 Nebula Award for Best Short Story.
Yeah, I mean this is definitely an award-winning story. I mean there's something special about this. I feel like I understand 70% of it.
Okay.
I feel like there are other things being said in the story that I am not understanding, and it's probably because of my overwhelming maleness that I have. Like I don't this story this story wasn't written for men.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting thing to question. What do you mean this story wasn't written for men? It seems like it's written for humans, like for anybody that's dealing with change, with maybe even a conservative mindset versus a progressive mindset.
Perhaps.
The progressive mindset is not a reaction to how things how people want things to be. It's a reaction to how things really are and where we can drive it from there. That's kind of the progressive way. The conservative mindset is, no, hey, we had it great before, and this is the natural way of things, and we will continue going that way. Because to do otherwise is inconvenient or or unnatural in some ways, in some parlance.
I mean, yeah, I can see those things in this story for sure. I would say that unless you are a woman in our current society, I don't think you can ever understand this story to its full extent, because this story talks about things in which you and I will never understand.
But here, I mean, like, don't stop trying, Stephen.
Oh no,
like
no, I'm not.
We get a view into this perspective and into this mind, and that's what good literature does. Is it allows for room for empathy for people who are not you, who have different life experiences.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's not. I could study this thing until I understood every word and every sentence, but there is a level of understanding I could never have. And that's true of all life and experiences.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose.
Like, think about pre parenthood versus post parenthood, right? You think you understand.
Yeah.
You could be told, you could be part of it, you could be next to it, but until you experience it, you do not fully understand. And I feel like this story has some of that in it. And that's very important. It's very important to have a piece of literature like this for not only those who would fully understand it, but for those of us who are trying really hard.
I mean, okay, so like this is a story where it positions a like not just a matriarchal society, but also a queer society, one in which romance by its nature in the society is homosexual. Right. And so and they've been getting along, moving about their days, having like lives for 600 years, and now these brutish men are saying, oh, you've been doing it wrong. It's unnatural and we're going to change this, you know? And that's without giving any thought or discussion to like what they would want, what is natural for them, right? So like it's again, it's that progressive versus conservative mind frame of you know, also it seems that a lot of fear here is that in even bringing up that what they're saying is wrong and ridiculous, that would be too much like that we're one step away from the war.
Yeah.
You know? There's not a lot of communication about these colonists really outwardly speaking what it is that they want from their lives to these men. And so it's kind of an interesting like for fear that when they ask for it, the simple act of them asking for it, they're not like they're relinquishing it by even discussing it, you know?
Yeah, they shouldn't have to ask. Like
right.
It's so interesting because the men arrive and like that there's the one lady who picks up the gun and is going to shoot him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, get him.
Yeah.
And like that whole idea of like they just kind of fall into this natural order, if you will, of like being subservient almost immediately is what it appears to be. However, they're just living their lives. Right? It's actually they are doing just fine, and the men come to dominate. It's not that the men come and then they are subservient. It's that they are normal and the men come to dominate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like, okay, so one thing that's kind of fascinating is that the narrator is discussing like almost in talking about the society is sort of defensive, right? Like, hey, we had a real rough go of it when half our population died. And maybe our, like, we're not where other people think we should be, but we're fine where we're at. Like, we're not looking for an insane rush into industrialization is what she calls it.
Right.
Let us go our own pace. Give us time. This is something that she says internally, but not externally, you know? And she calls internally, she calls the man, the monomaniac, you know, someone which would like have an obsessive enthusiasm or preoccupation with one thing, which, anyhow, what a what a wild story.
One of the most threatening sentences. So I'm gonna read this as one little bit, and we can probably end it there because we've gone long enough. But so they're talking about, let's see, they're talking about genetic damage, radiation, and these men want to use while away's genes, right? And she says, you can have cells enough to drown in. I said, breed your own. Like, you know, he smiled. That's not the way we want to do it. That right there makes me want to load a gun and say, and say no, and end it right there. Because we know what he's talking about.
I got the term wrong. Parthenogenesis, which in the story they say is so easy that anyone can practice it, and is what we do, which is the merging of ova. Yeah, and that's why Katie's baby looks like me. And so, like, just a little bit of like, well, how are you having kids? Well, parthenogenesis. You know, it's how we've done it the last 600 years. Yeah, it's what's worked.
And look around, we're doing fine. Why don't you try that? That's not how we want to do it. Oh, that's so threatening. I hate it. Oh, when I said it right there, I got chills. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
So go read the story. It's great.
Yeah.
The amount of conversation that this story's generated just between the two of us. That's a great short story right there. That is fantastic. All right. So When It Changed by Joanna Russ from 1972. There are links in our show notes if you want to read it for yourself. And like you said before, next week is Bears Discover Fire. I hope it's the women.
By Terry
names.
Bisson.
By Terry Bisson. Terry Ballantyne Bisson, who died recently, January 10th, 2024.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's for next week. So next week, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a surprise episode. You're going to be surprised. We're going to be surprised. It's going to be fantastic. In the meantime, Ben, do you have any last words for us?
Yeah, man. My neighbor knocked on my door at 2 a.m. this morning and said, I can't sleep. Well, it's your lucky day. I said, we got a party going on in here. Come on in.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.